So today in this video we will see the day 6 30 days of code. Let's review problem. So the author of this problem is Alison P. The difficulty level is easy. The maximum score is 30 and it has been submitted by around 3,65,000 people. Objective is today we will expand our knowledge of strings, combining it with what we have already learned about loops. And the task is, given a string s of length n that is indexed from 0 to n minus 1, print its even indexed and odd indexed characters as two space separated strings on a single line. So we have a string of length n. The index is obviously 0 to n minus 1, since the index of an array in C programming starts from 0. In any programming in general, the index of any array starts from 0. So it goes from 0 to n minus 1 since the length is n. And we have to print two strings separated by a space. The first string will be the characters that are present at even indexed spaces, and the second string will be the characters of that string that are present at odd indexed spaces. So 0 is considered to be an even index. So there is a note 0 is considered to be an even index. So basically this is divided by 2 perfectly. So this is an even index. In this problem, this is considered an even index. In general, that is not an even index. So example is S is equal to ADB ECF. So this is the string of characters, and then we print A B C D E F. So A, B and C are at odd positions of this string. So this is at this is actually at even positions, since 0 is considered even. So 0 has A, index 0 has A, index 1 has D, index 2 has B. So index 2 is also even, so we print that. And then index C is at index 4, so we print C as well. So this is the characters that are present at even places, and this is the characters that are present at odd spaces. So D is at index 1, so its index is odd, so we print that in the even, in the odd string part. The input format is the first line contains an integer t. The number of test cases, each line I of the t subsequent lines contains a string s. So we have t test cases, t number of test cases, and we have t lines of inputs, so t strings, and we have to do this printing part for each one of them. The constraints are that t is greater than equal to 1 and less than equal to 10. So we have at least one case and at maximum 10 cases. And the length of that string as input is greater than equal to 2 and less than is equal to 10,000. So this basically means that we have to initialize an array of length 10,000 for the maximum part. The output format is for each string sj, where 0 j less than j greater than equal to 0 and less than is equal to t minus 1. Print sj's even indexed characters followed by a space followed by sj's odd indexed characters. So here is another input. There are two test cases. The first string is hacker and the second string is rank. So the sample output is HCE AKR. So this is the even part, HCE is the even part, and AKR is the odd indexed part. Similarly, RN is the even indexed part and AK is the odd indexed part. So here is an explanation. We already know what it is, since S0 is H, so the even indices are 0, 2 and 4. So at index 0 we have H, at index 2 we have C, at index 4 we have E, so we print H, C, E. So these are the even index parts. We print them as a single string, and the odd indices, that is 1, 3 and 5, we have A, K and R. So we print AKR in a single string separated by a space from that even indexed string. So that is it for this example. And for the second string as well, the rank string, we have 0 and 2 at even. So Rn is the even indexed string, and 1, 3 AK is the odd indexed string. We print that separated by space. So let's see how the code will look like. So what we have to do is we have to first take the input of the number of test cases. So we write integer t. This is the number we will take as input. We are using C language, by the way. We are using C language to write this, and we scan the number. We write scanner %d ampersand t. So this %d is used to signify that you are taking an input integer, and this ampersand is used to signify where we are storing that integer that we take as an input. So t is the number of test cases. Since the number of test cases is t, we have to run a loop to count to input every single string. So we initialize a for loop. So for integer I is equal to 0, I less than t, I plus plus. So what happens is I begins from 0. This is the condition, I is less than t. If the I value is less than the t value, then this loop will execute, and after every loop we will have the value of I increase by 1. So I plus plus means it is incremented by 1, and now we have to take the input of that string. So first we have to initialize that string that we take as an input. So we write a array, so char s, and we take the size of that array as 10,000, since the maximum limit of that string length was 10,000. So 10,000. Now we have to run another for loop to run through every single element and check its index. So we initialize another for loop for integer. This time the counter will be I. J is equal to 0, j less than string length. So strlen is a function that is used to find the length of a string, and this is a standard function in C. So you can just write it anywhere, and we have to put the parameter as string. So we put the parameter, and then we increase the value of j. Now if we write an if else condition to evaluate whether or not the index is odd or even. So we write if j divided by j modulus 2 is equal to 0, then this is the even index. So we print s, and printf is used to print anything inside the C language, and we have to print a single character, so we will be using %c instead of %d. So the syntax looks like this. We print %c, and then we write the value that is present at index j. So s of j. Since j satisfies the condition of even, then this will print the even indexed characters. So after this loop, we will need to place a space, because the even indexed strings and odd indexed strings need to be separated by space. So printf This is nothing complex. Just place a string and put a space inside it. Then we will write another for loop. So we can just copy this. So copy this for loop and paste this below the space. So the difference between both these for loops will be that this for loop is used to print. Let me write it this way. Let me format it. This for loop is used to print the even indexed characters, and the next for loop is used to print the odd indexed characters. So the only thing that we have to change here is j modulus 2 shouldn't be equal to 0. Okay, so this will print all the characters at odd positions. After we have printed the even indexed characters and the space and the odd indexed characters, we will need to print a new line so that the next string can be printed in the next line. So printf, then we put backslash n. Backslash n stands for new line character. So this is it for the code, and this loop will execute as many number of test cases as we have. For each number of each test case, we will print the even indexed string, then we will print the space, and then we will print the odd indexed string, and then we will put a new line so that the next string can be printed in the next line. So we run the code and test for the cases. Okay, there is some error. We did not output anything. Okay, so there is one thing we missed before evaluating the odd and even indexed characters. We need to first input the string that we will have to evaluate. So we will put a simple scanf and write %s and then write %s. So this will take the string input, and we run the code again. Okay, so that test cases have been passed. We submit the code. There will be 9 test cases. So all of them have been passed. Now you need to remember that the size of that array shouldn't be less than 10,000, because this is the maximum corner case for this string, and you need to assign this size appropriately. So I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care.